Hi. In C.S. Lewis's chapter on affection in the book The Four Loves, he is developing the thought of, we talked about affection coming kind of gradually. It's almost unnoticed that you have affection. Well, he says that this is also the same kind of thing that happens in dislike or distaste for people, that it's a very subtle and gradual thing that you don't really notice, but it's there. So this is how he frames the discussion. For the very same conditions of intimacy which make affection possible, also, and no less naturally, make possible a peculiarly incurable distaste, a hatred as immemorial, constant, unemphatic, almost at times unconscious, as the corresponding form of love. Siegfried, in the opera, could not remember a time before every shuffle, mutter, and fidget of his dwarfish foster father had become odious. We never catch this kind of hatred, any more than affection, at the moment of its beginning. It was always there before. Notice that old is a term of wearied loathing as well as of endearment. At his old tricks, in his old way, the same old thing. It would be absurd to say that Lear is lacking in affection. Insofar as affection is need-love, he is half crazy with it. Unless in his own way he loved his daughters, he would not so desperately desire their love. The most unlovable parent or child may be full of such ravenous love, but it works to their own misery and everyone else's. The situation becomes suffocating. If people are already unlovable, a continual demand on their part, as of right, to be loved, their manifest sense of injury, their reproaches, whether loud and clamorous or merely implicit in every look and gesture of resentful self-pity, produces in us a sense of guilt. They are intended to do so, for a fault we could not have avoided and cannot cease to commit. They seal up the very fountain for which they are thirsty. All the while they remain unaware of the real road. And then he quotes Ovid. If you would be loved, be lovable. Then he goes on to talk about rudeness and manners, particularly in families. And this is what he has to say about that. We hear a great deal about the rudeness of the rising generation. I am an oldster myself, and might be expected to take the oldster's side. But in fact, I have been far more impressed by the bad manners of parents to children than by those of children to parents. I don't know what he would say now. Anyways, who has not been the embarrassed guest at a family meal where the father or mother treated their grown-up offspring with an incivility which, offered to any other young people, would simply have terminated the acquaintance? Dogmatic assertions on matters which the children understand and their elders don't, ruthless interruptions, flat contradictions, ridicule of things that young people take seriously, sometimes of their religion, insulting references to their friends, all provide an easy answer to the question, why are they always out? Why do they like every house better than their home? Who does not prefer civility to barbarism? If you asked any of these insufferable people, they are not all parents, of course, why they behave that way at home, they would reply, oh, hang it all, one comes home to relax. A chap can't be always on his best behavior. If a man can't be himself in his own house, where can he? Of course, we don't want company manners at home. We're a happy family. We can say anything to one another here. No one minds. We all understand. Once again, it is so nearly true, yet so fatally wrong. Affection is an affair of old clothes and ease, of the unguarded moment, of liberties which would be ill-bred if we took them with strangers. But old clothes are one thing. To wear the same shirt till it stank would be another. There is a distinction between public and domestic courtesy. There are rules of good manners. The more intimate the occasion, the less formalization, but not therefore the less need of courtesy. On the contrary, affection at its best practices a courtesy which is incomparably more subtle, sensitive, and deep than the public kind. In public, a ritual would do. We can say anything to one another. The truth behind this is that affection at its best can say whatever affection at its best wishes to say, regardless of the rules that govern public courtesy. For affection at its best, and this is what I think is important that he says, affection at its best wishes neither to wound, nor to humiliate, nor to domineer. You may address the wife of your bosom as pig when she inadvertently has drunk your cocktail as well as her own. You may roar down the story which your father is telling once too often. You may tease and hoax and banter. You may say, "Shut up, I want to read." You can do anything in the right tone and at the right moment. The tone and moment which are not intended to and will not hurt. The better the affection, the more unerring it knows which these are. Every love has its art of love. So I found that these insights that he has, I think they would be a wonderful preparation for people when it comes to friendships and future marriages and family life. He's not just giving you rules of behavior, but of understanding of the whys behind the behavior and the impact on others. Much as I would say the book of Proverbs does this well. I'm going to link to a video that David and I did called Sins of the Fathers, first part, on Exodus chapter 34, the privilege and peril of parenthood. And the second video is based on the screw tape letters. And you have to remember that that is a senior devil speaking to a junior devil. And that one is called Build Up a Good Settled Habit of Mutual Annoyance and Daily Pinpricks. So that's Screw Tape's take on family life.